Hey guys, welcome back to the Nothing But Thoughts podcast. My name is Dang. I'm your host. Before I get started, I just wanted to say make sure to follow all the socials. I'm going to link down below. If you guys are listening to us on Spotify or any of those, you could just check out the YouTube, Instagram, IG, TikTok or Facebook, right? And you can see clips and different things there if you guys want and either to follow us. Before I get started, I'm just gonna rehash some things from the last episode because I kind of forgot some of them, and then because for whatever reason I didn't want to like write them down. I don't know why. I thought in my head it would just like come organically, right, and just off the dome, but it didn't. Especially for the first couple pods, I don't think it's gonna like that. So this time I kind of like broke it down, kind of give it back. I'm gonna fill in a couple spaces and a couple things, and then I'll continue off from where I was last episode. So just to rehash, last episode I just finished saying we got off the plane. We moved to London. It was like 2008, right? So it was like January, and then we were with my aunt for like a couple months, and then we were in the women's shelter for like that little bit, and then we moved to like Devon. So I'm just gonna take it back for a sec. So when we were back in Winnipeg still, I kind of glossed over this. Um, I had my friend like Kyle, right? My friend Kyle, he's like one of my best friends. He was like near Langside, and Kyle was always really chill. Like me and him went to like Edmonton Mall together. Like when we were younger, like his mom like took us, and we went and like did a couple other things, which was like pretty cool. So like me and Kyle had like pretty good friendship, right? And so like the one year, like I said, his mom took us to Edmonton Mall, which was pretty dope. It was like a 12-hour drive, right, from Winnipeg through Saskatoon, and then to Alberta. It's like a 12 and a half hour drive or whatever. It's not too bad. It was pretty dope. Like his mom filled that bitch with snacks, bunch of Gatorade, whatever, right? Chips. This is early 2000s, so like we had like what board games or some shit like we were playing in the car while we were like riding out, which was like pretty fun. And then we had the rest stops, and then we'd eat like warm food then or whatever. But it was pretty dope. And then like I remember Edmonton Mall, and being in Edmonton was pretty dope. It was like what? There was like a wave pool in there. There was there was like a pirate ship with with like what, three movie theaters, a bunch of arcades, especially like in the what, like mid 2000s, right? I think that's like about the time like we went, and it was fun. It was really fun as shit. They had like a pirate ship, like I said. They had like a show, a wave pool, like a whole bunch of like theaters, games, and different things like that. It was really cool, and it was fun. And then I remember like on that trip as well, right? Like we were gonna go visit Kyle's dad, right? Because Kyle's dad lived in Edmonton. Is when his mom and his dad got divorced, right? Like she moved to Winnipeg. So so like Kyle tells his dad or whatever, right? Like his mom that like he's bringing a friend or whatever, right? And his dad's like, yeah, cool, whatever, right? Whatever. So I go and like I meet them. And I remember like the first time I stepped out, they were like kind of shocked, right? Which was like funny because I think like they were expecting me to be white or something, right? Which you know what I mean, like they weren't like racist or nothing like that, but I think it was just like a surprise to them, like at the time, you know what I mean? Like because they didn't have like further warning or nothing, so like I don't know, they probably just expect like a white kid or something, you know what I mean? It was just like a funny thing. But his dad was like really cool. He took us on like a hike, like through the trails and different things like that, which like was pretty dope. And we got to see like you know what I mean, like Edmonton and stuff like that, which was fun. And that was like a fun experience. So like after that, right? Kyle's mom was like, "Oh, then I'm gonna take you guys get some food, right?" Like we had like a long day. Niggas just went for a walk, like a hike through the woods. We were already was just in the mall, me fucking around, playing games, whatever, whatever. You know what I mean? Like having a good time. So afterwards, Kyle's mom's like, okay, I'm gonna take you guys to like a steakhouse or whatever, right? Like, you know what I mean? Get some food. And we're all like, yeah, happy, right? Because like I'm not picky, right? Like ever since I was a kid, you know what I mean? My parents just made me eat like whatever was for dinner was what we're eating. So, you know what I mean? You don't really get to be picky. It's either you eat or you don't. You know what I mean? Every like immigrant parent or person will, you know what I mean, know this. Or just strict household sometimes. So so like I said, right, I'm not picky. I'm just more hungry at this point. Long ass day, niggas tired as shit. You know what I mean? I played some games, all bunch of shit. It was a cool ass day, nice fucking day. So we're like on the way to the fucking we're like on the way to the steakhouse or whatever. Me and Kyle, right? We decided like or sorry, we're like talking about what was it? We're having like an argument about if my mom gets like child tax benefit for like having me, right? And Kyle's like, yeah, like he's like, bro, like your mom gets money for you. You know what I mean? Every month from the government, everybody's mom does. And I'm like, no, she doesn't. And he's like, bro, yes, she does. My mom gets it. Your mom gets it. Everybody's mom gets it. And then I was like, no, she doesn't, bro. You're lying. You know what I mean? I was like, no, she doesn't. So like for whatever reason, it was like a heated argument, right? To the point where like I didn't wanna like talk to Kyle anymore or like be around the nigga, you know what I mean? So so what we end up doing is just like on the way to to the steak thing. I'm not gonna eat with you. I'm not gonna do anything. Like I'm just gonna fucking you know what I mean. I'm just gonna be mad, right? And like sulk at it. And so Kyle and and all of us like we get to the thing, and so we get to the to the steakhouse and everything, and we're all just chilling and whatever, right? And his mom's like, okay, so like, were you gonna go in, right? And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna go in. I'm not hungry, kind of thing. I'm just being stubborn headed and shit. And then she's like, really, like you don't want to eat? And I was like, yeah, like I'm not gonna eat. She's like, are you sure? I asked me like 3 times, right? I was like, nah, like I'm not gonna come in, kind of thing. I was like so mad or whatever about it, about that, you know, what I mean, the argument, which was stupid at the time, but I was just like whatever mad about it. And so Kyle and his mom or whatever, they're like, okay, like they go in, right? And afterwards, I literally sit in the car the whole time. Like I shit you not. Like Kyle and his mom could swear to this. Um, I sit in the car the whole fucking time because I'm stubborn as a motherfucker. Even though I'm hungry as shit, right? Like I said, we had the long ass motherfucking day. Went hiking and shit. Went to the mall. Was hanging out. You know what I mean? Having a good old fucking time. And so but I'm stubborn headed about it. I'm like, nah, like I'm not doing it. Fuck him, da da da. Right? So I'm like, I'm not doing it. So after I waited out. They finished. They come back. Right? His mom was like, so you good now? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. You know what I mean? Whatever. So wow, like 50. She's like, I'm gonna go get you some whatever. Right? So got me some food, whatever. Be this nigga. He's like, I'm sorry, whatever about it. And then he's like, I'm right though. And then his mom's like, Kyle, just let it go. And I was like, okay, whatever, right? Fixed it, we were fine, whatever. And then we had like a fun rest of the trip. So and that was like earlier, like in the time, right? Like when I was around Kyle and everything, right? So fast forward, right, to when I moved to Donwood, right? When I moved to Donwood, there was like one night when I was hanging out with Christian, right, and stuff. We were like at the like the little park, whatever, like in the complex, and it was like almost 9 o'clock. I was just sitting there like with him, and I was like, man, like I miss my buddy Kyle. Like I haven't seen him in like a little while. I wonder how he is. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh Christian, I'm gonna walk back and go see Kyle right now. You know what I mean? He's like, really? And I was like, yeah. And it was like 9 o'clock, right? I just did it with my own like my own just decision, right? Out of nowhere, I just was like, yep, I'm gonna go do it. And so I don't tell my mom. I don't, you know what I mean, do anything like that. I just start up walking, right? Start walking. So I walked from Donwood all the way back to Langside, right? In the middle of the night, whatever. I don't know how long it fucking took me to walk, right? Throughout the walk, I saw a bunch of homeless niggas, people doing drugs, whatever, right? But I just walked, and these niggas didn't bother me. They didn't do nothing. And it's just a true story. The Winnipeg police could vouch for this. And so then, I walk, right? I don't know how long it took me. Like I said, I was probably like 10 years old at the time. You know what I mean? But I'm a tall kid, like I said, and like I said, I didn't knew that city like the back of my head. I was really good with directions. You know what I mean? So like I knew that place. Like it was just easy for me to get around. And so you know what I mean. So when I got there, right, it was however time. I'm sitting there. I'm like going to Kyle's house, which is just like the street over from Langside, right? And he just lived like the street over from me. So I go over to the house, right? I knock. It's pretty late, right? But I like all the lights are off and everything in the house, and it's dark. So I give it like three knocks, right? Three good knocks. No one answers. I'm like, okay. I give it three more solid knocks. No one answers, right? And then I give it like a harder knock. No one's there, and I'm like, fuck. So now I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do, right? It's fucking dark. I fucking don't know anywhere to be, right? Anyways, there. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back to the apartment. Rob obviously still lives there, right? Because they own the building. So I just buzzed Rob's number a couple times, right? He didn't answer. I'm like, he buzzing obviously, right? Because I need to fucking get in somewhere. So he finally buzzes in or like lets it in or whatever kind of thing. That probably doesn't know what's going on. And then um I go to the stairwell again, right? Like that I already been to before, right? I chill in the stairwell. I'm in there, go to the top, and I go to sleep, whatever, right? I'm thinking like I'll just wait till the next day. He'll pop over Kyle, maybe he's there, and then whatever, everything will be all right, kind of thing. Meanwhile, right, my parents don't know where I'm at, anything like that. I just went on my own my own volition, you know what I mean? Just left. Um, because you know what I mean. Like when I was a kid and stuff, it was like if I wanted to do something, like I just did it. You know what I mean? Like nothing could stop me. I was just all right. Like this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? And I think even to this day, it stayed with me. It's just I don't know. I don't know if it's drive. It's carelessness. It's whatever, but it's like when I'm determined for something, I really wanted to go see a friend at the time. You know what I mean? I just walked, would just walk to go see a friend. You know what I mean? Didn't care how long it took or whatever I have to do to get there. I just did it. Um, So anyways, so I sleep it off, right? Whatever. I wake up in the morning, and I'm a kid, obviously, right? So like, I like kids wake up pretty fucking early. Like I wake up like 8 o'clock, probably like 7:45 or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like probably like most kids. So I'm up pretty fucking early or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's probably early, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go probably to the art gallery, like the art place, right? That was right beside like the community center. And because I'm like, oh, like they're usually open early and like they have breakfast and stuff there. So I was like, oh, I'll go visit them. You know what I mean? And I'll go get some breakfast, and then you know what I mean. I'll go see Kyle or something. So I walk over, right. I walk over to the place, and like I come in, and they're like, I was like, hey, how are you guys, right? And they're like, dang, and I was like, yeah, and they're like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, like I wanted to go see Kyle, so you know what I mean. I came to visit or whatever, and they're like, didn't you move? And I was like, yeah, and they're like, do your parents know you're here? And I was like, no, and they're like, oh my god, you know what I mean? Like what the fuck? So like they sit me down. They gave me breakfast, right, which is probably like Cheerios or something at the fucking time, right? Just gave me some Cheerios and some milk or whatever. They call the police. Police show up. Police are like, so what happened? Da, 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 right? Like they're like, well, so what happened? And I'm like, oh, I wanted to go like visit my friend Kyle, and they're like, okay, but why didn't you tell your parents or anything? And I was like, because I just wanted to go see him like that night. You know what I mean? Like when I wanted to do something, I wanted to do it like right now. You know what I mean? So I had no time to waste, kind of thing. And the cops confused and all that. So cops like at least you're safe or whatever, right? So meanwhile, all this time, I'm surprised I haven't been like took or something. You know what I mean? Like early. early 2000s like that. It was like the start of the Stranger Danger and all that. So I probably got some luck right there. But so, anyways, the cop and stuff is just like, okay. After I finish my cereal and shit or whatever, they take me back home and stuff, and I got my ass beat, whatever. But it was like a funny time, you know what I mean? Like you could keep seeing, like, as a kid, like when I really wanted to do something, like there was, and you know what I mean. And I think it's kind of bad, but probably right. But it was just like, I don't know. Nobody could tell me like I can't do something, you know what I mean? And I don't mean like in a weird way or creepy or nothing like that, but like, you know what I mean? Like something like things that are normal, like wanting to hang out with your friends, or you know what I mean, wanting to achieve something. Like if people tell me like I can't do something, it really does fucking bother me, and it makes me really want to be like, okay, fuck you, like I'm gonna show you. And then because I'm a petty nigga, like I really mean that. You know what I mean? Like I'm petty. And I remember shit like forever. You know what I mean? Like I have like an elephant's fucking memory. Like I'll wait it out. Like I'll do like I'm king petty. Like you know what I mean? I'll literally, if I could, I would buy out like you know what I mean, like somebody's workplace, and then just shut it down just because I don't like them. Like for real. Like it's pretty fucked up. But if I really don't like somebody like that much, I would do some shit like that. I would, because shit like that don't mean nothing to me. I really feel like, you know what I mean. There's no amount of money that's not worth it for revenge. You know what I mean? Like I gotta shout out my nigga Drake like that for it, but I really mean that. But anyways, so fast forward like some time, right? Like, oh yeah, wait. So before like my childhood was pretty good too, right? Like before I continue before this, right? Because I talked about like my parents fighting and all that, and like the knife situation and different things like that, and the fighting consistently, and you know what I mean, and the different things in jail back and forth. But before that, you know what I mean. Like my dad always had like a you know what I mean, like a good workplace. Like he worked at like this what was it, like cabinet or like TV unit place, right, where they like build like big units kind of thing, right, like the big units on both sides, you know what I mean, and everything. And you know, you can put your speakers and all that and different things, and what, like the nice ones, whatever. So his company, whatever, every year would host like a Christmas party in Portage Place, right? They would rent out like this like movie theater like little space and whatever, and they would bring like a Santa. All the fucking kids would go there, you know what I mean? Like with all the other like employees, right? Like that would be there, and we'd all sit on Santa's lap. They'd give us like a present or two each, kind of thing. You'd eat some food, watch like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or some bullshit. You know what I mean? Have a good fucking time. You know what I mean? It was a good fucking time, and they would do it like every year, kind of shit. You know what I mean? So it was like a lot of good. You know what I mean? As well with the bad and the other shit that happened. It was like a, you know what I mean? It's a mix. Um, but I just had to, you know what I mean? Just bring that in, because I like, you know what I mean, I enjoyed like my childhood for whatever it was. You know what I mean? Like it just, you know, it was what it was. But yeah, like that was fun. And I just want to see. Oh yeah. So also in my childhood too, which was really dope, right? It was like, so Winnipeg is like pretty, I would say, like artsy in a way, or like has a lot of culture, right? Like anywhere from our like Aboriginal to First Nations people, right? Like black, white, Asian. Like it's a decent mix and different things like that. And growing up, Winnipeg always had like good museums, right? Like there was the um I forget what it's called, but it was like the gardener snakes, like it's like a nature museum kind of thing, right? Like, and then inside it would have different animals and different things like that. You would learn about them. They had like gardener snake pits like outside, and they're just rattling like crazy, you know what I mean? And it was cool. It was really dope. They had like inside this big, I probably shouldn't do that, but they had this really big, what was it, like pirate ship, that like you could go into and have like all like the rooms downboard and all the, you know what I mean. So you learn about the poop deck and all that, and whatever. It was like dope. Like Winnipeg for what it is like now it's what Canada's like um most dangerous city or something. Like it has like the highest crime rate. I need to stop doing that. And yeah, it has like the highest crime rate, but it has like a lot of culture. It has a lot of nice things as like to it as well. Like even after I moved, they had like a new museum of like culture actually like built. I'm pretty sure it's the Museum of Culture. Anyways, it's like it's really nice. It celebrates, you know what I mean, all cultures. Like pretty self-explanatory, but it's nice. And like remember in the wintertime they had like the winter festivals where people skate on the Red River and all that and whatever. And then in the summertime as well, they always had like different things going on, festivals and different things. It was a good time. Like Winnipeg was really like a fun place for me. Yeah. So, oh yeah, and also I remember I went to like to Canadian Mint when I was younger and stuff too. Like that was really fun. The Canadian Mint was really cool. Obviously, where we make our coins and different things like that. They would like give you like a walk through the building. You get to touch a couple of coins and different things like that, seeing them fresh and new. It was a fun time. It was really fun and cool. So okay, so then after moving back to London, right? I'm back after moving to London. It was 2008. We went to all that. We're back in Donwood, right? And then I started going to Glencairn, right? Glencairn was always a fun place. I remember the first day that I went, right? It was like grade six, and first day it was like this guy Damien, right? He was like a friend of mine. First day, like he like introduced himself. He's like, "Hey, I'm Damien, whatever." Like trying to be nice to me and all that. Like right, trying to be friendly. Because I came like mid through the year or something. Like yeah, mid through the year or whatever. And then so when he was trying to be nice and everything to me, I kind of like was standoffish and like was ignoring him because I was like, I don't know this kid, like whatever. And I didn't kind of want to like be his friend right away, right? I didn't want to open up to him for whatever reason. So I just, was like, okay, kind of whatever. But the moment like we went inside right after the recess or the bell went, he was in my class, and then like we just ended up being friends and hanging out and stuff like that. So it was like kind of funny and ironic how at first like standoffish to somebody who was like you trying to be your friend, and then he ended up being like a decent friend to me. Um, but Karen was fun. Had a lot of fun there. Played sports. Um, Met a lot of people. I remember at this time, right? I was still doing So no, okay, so yeah, about this time, right? It's like grade six, whatever. I just meet Damien and everything. Me and Damien become really good friends. Um, Damien would want to like hang out and different things, right? But I would have to like babysit, right, and take care of my siblings and different things like that, right? Because at the time, like I just had to, what I mean, watch them or different things like that. And so like I said, I would force the sleepovers. So one of the first weeks, whatever, again, that I'm there, whatever, like the at like the new house or whatever. They even ask if I could sleep over, or whatever, and I go, yeah, I'll ask whatever. My mom goes, no, like you can't or something. So I go, okay, whatever, and I was like, well, can I just go outside or whatever kind of thing? And she's like, yeah, no problem. So I go to hang out. I go to Damien's and I tell him, yeah, like I can't hang out, whatever, right? Do the same thing, and then, but this time, like the funny part about it was, um, well, so it was about like 11 o'clock or whatever. They call like Damien's mom or whatever. They call Damien's mom's house. Not sure how they got the number because I think they like called the bus driver. You know what I mean? Like they do some weird tracking back in the day where it'd be like they'll they'll like track your route somehow. Then to be like, okay, there's a bus driver who crosses between there at like this time, right? And then did you see a kid matching this description? I think that's usually I would think how that goes, how they break it down. And so, anyways, so they break it down like they track me, whatever. They call the house, and then Damien's mom, whatever, was like drinking, and they were hanging out and having a time. It was like a Friday, obviously, right? And so like I go back home, and when I get there, the house is like flipped over and stuff because like the police thought like my mom like kidnapped me or like killed me or something because they like flipped through the whole house. Like they were like they were very like suspicious of her and everything. Like it was like funny, like not to her obviously, it's probably some bullshit, but you know what I mean? But it was funny to me, where I'm like, these people thought like, you know what I mean, like she killed me or some bullshit. It's just really funny. Not for my mom, but so like I said, so after at this time, right? Me and my mom usually like are fighting from time to time because I want to hang out, but usually like I'm home. Like, and the reason, like I said, for the going out a lot is because majority of the time I would be home. I'd be taking care of the kids, or I'd be doing this, or I'd be doing that, right? And I have no problem, like I said, doing any of those things because I love my siblings and my family. But just like anything, like you're a kid, you're social like me, very outgoing, like you like people, you like hanging out with people. You hate being fucking stuck inside. Most people like in the, you know what I mean, late 2000s, like and early 2000s, whatever, you would always want your kid to go outside. You know what I mean? You don't want them in the house annoying you. But for my culture and everything, it's the other way around where you are supposed to be around. You're supposed to do things. You're supposed to, you know what I mean, grow up. Especially since my dad wasn't around as much later on when, all their fighting and back and forth stuff. So it's pretty much like I'm the head of the house, taking care of, trying to do different things. You know what I mean? So that was basically the reason for that. But I also wanted to have a childhood at the same time, right? And hang out and have fun. So that's where the butting of heads would come from. And especially as well, like my mom is like a clean freak. You know what I mean? Like I like it to this day because like I'm clean like normally, right? But when you get lazy, you get lazy. But normally I'm pretty clean because of her. Like she literally would get upset for having like one dish out if you're just in there, you know what I mean, watching cartoons on a fucking Saturday, watching some Scooby Doo or some shit, or you know what I mean, like Ben 10 or some bullshit, But she'd get so upset, you know what I mean. It like literally like I swear she'd like burst a fucking like blood vessel from the from the anger. Just one or two dishes was a thing for her. It was crazy, and then mom would have like this yelling of the voice, right, where she would go, and probably a lot of people's parents, but if it's similar, where they yell and then they go, "This is just how I talk," and you're like, "No, ho, this is not how you talk. You talk pretty fucking normal every other time. It's just right now, you know what I mean?" And they're like, "No, this is just my voice," and I'm like, "No, it's not." You know what I mean? Like, cut the bullshit. Like, so and my mom, like I think most moms, right, especially African ones and different things, they be talking shit, right? Like you could do a small thing and then they be talking shit. You be downstairs, right? Like I'd be downstairs in the basement or something, playing games, like like the Xbox at the time, 360, and she's upstairs talking mad shit to my auntie, to my uncle, whoever, like just cussing out my name. You know what I mean? And like downstairs, you're sitting there like, bitch, like, what the fuck are you running this shit for? You know what I mean? Like, you're just talking all, and I could hear you, ho. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it would make you so mad as a kid. Like, you're sitting there like, motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't stand it, but you can't do shit. Like, that's your parents. You know what I mean? But oh, I fucking hate it because they rub that shit in your face. Like they know you hear it. They're talking loud, so they so you fucking know. You know what I mean? Um. So anyways, like I said, we had like fighting and everything. Wherever she would be kicking me out, right? Like periodically, especially for like the dish shit that I'd be talking about, right? And like a bunch of friends, like I'd go see friends and different things and stuff at the time, right? And I'm like 12 or whatever at the time. You know what I mean? So I remember at this point, like I met my friend, like good friend Jordan, right? So Jordan Eden, shout out Jordan. When I met Jordan, Jordan's parents were always really cool, like from the jump. Like Jordan's parents, like I loved his parents. Like they were like dope. I kind of wish they were my parents from time to time, especially his dad. You know what I mean? But that was a little later. So so at this time, like I meet Jordan, right? He's like a half Portuguese kid, right? Half Canadian, right? And and like we're hanging out. Like his dad was like really chill, right? Like super chill. Like his dad is especially the kid would be like, "Oh, do you boys need anything? Like, you know what I mean? Run to the store, or this, or whatever. You know what I mean?" And so like when we got older, like it literally was got to the point where like I could just go over to the house and he'd be like, hey kid, you know what I mean? Like I'd be like his kid basically, you know what I mean? Like how are you, whatever. I could just grab whatever. He always feed me all the time, you know what I mean? Like it was really dope. Like shout out Rick. Like I really love Rick for that, and a couple other people's parents as well. Like it wasn't just them, but I really loved Rick. Like it was we had like a tight relationship. Like so so yeah, anyways, going through like when we were like getting a little older, right? When me and Jordan would like hang out, we'd like, play video games, hang out in the room, watch movies, right, whatever. And his dad would always be really chill with it and dope. Like and later on he let us throw parties. He literally would drink with us. Like I remember, so I would always go over to the house and like Rick drinks beer, right? Like and then his beer choice is Budweiser. So when we were getting a little older, right, like around like 13, 14, whatever, like trying like beer age, right? So he'd just be like, do you boys like want a beer, right? Like try a beer, and you know what I mean. And then like he just give us one, right, or whatever. I would always think, right, like beer is disgusting to me. Like it was always gross because I obviously never drank it like that. And the only person who drinks in my family was my dad at the time, right? Like he drinks beer or alcohol. My mom doesn't drink. Like nobody else in my family drinks or anything like that. So so I tried Bud, right? And I didn't like it. Thought it was disgusting. It's gross, right? I was like, it's like piss. I was like, I don't know how people drink this. And he's like, oh, you just get used to it and whatever. So long story short, right? Obviously, like I keep drinking it, right? He keeps giving us just beers from time to time, like you know what I mean, for dinner sometimes or whatever. And then when we got older, when we could drink, he'd just be like, "There's beer in the fridge. You guys want some kind of thing, right?" Like he'd just be dope like that. and so, um, I don't know, me and Jordan's dad and everything, we grew like a really big bond. From always being there back and forth, seeing like me fighting and whatever, and then um like he taught us how to play like pool and stuff like that. I remember at one point he bought like it was like a $15,000 like table, like a real like nice table, right? And he had like in the downstairs living room kind of thing. And we were playing like it was really funny, you know what I mean? Like it was we had some really good times. Shout out to Jordan's dad. Um it sucks. This is the second time I had to fucking do this bitch, you know what I mean? Because yesterday didn't save through. It's kind of way you live and learn, I guess. You know what I mean? Okay. So, like I said, so near this time, right? The fighting with my mom, going to Jordan's and different other people's houses, right? Having to, right? A lot of people see this, right? And I'm like a good kid at the time. A lot of people don't understand why, you know what I mean? My mom has to be this way, or, you know what I mean? Why certain things are happening, right? So we fast forward a little bit. I'm probably like mm, 16, right? And my mom don't have the greatest relationship, but so it's Christmas or whatever, and my uncle or whatever is over, right? And we're all hanging out, just having a good time. It's just Christmas. I'm like watching a movie or something downstairs, and the rest of them they're upstairs like partying and like watching something or whatever. And then it comes to a point where my uncle pulls me to the side and says, "You should call your dad, right? And wish him a happy or Merry Christmas, whatever." I was like, okay, right. So I go to call, right, and so he puts in the phone, and I go to call, right. So and like type in the number, I go to call, um, and the person answers, and I'm like, hey, is Yach there, right? And that's like my dad's name, right? So then after they're like, no, there's nobody by that name, and I'm like, okay, so that's weird. So then I just hang up the phone kind of thing, right? And then I go to them, I'm like, oh, so no one was there kind of thing. And he goes, and then my uncle goes, yeah, just not your dad, right? And I was like, what? And then he goes, yeah, like, yeah, just not your dad. And I was like shocked, right? And then I was like, what? Like, to my mom kind of thing. And then my mom goes, yeah, like, he's not your dad. Like, I told you, like, this, like, your whole life kind of thing. And what she meant by that was my mom, when she would get a mad or whatever, she would say like little jab bullshit, like that's not your dad, like go find your dad kind of bullshit, right? But like as a kid, like how are you supposed to differentiate like whether that's real or not, or you know what I mean? And at the same time, like why would my mom be saying that shit? But my mom had me at a young age, so maybe that's, you know what I mean? Like whatever. Like, and my mom had me at what, 15? I don't think that's an excuse personally, but it is what it is, like I said, right? So my mom goes, like I said, I told you like your whole life kind of thing, whatever. Like, and I was like, no, you kind of didn't. And then so like I'm upset right now, right? Like all this I'm finding out, like there's a lot of emotions running through me. Like I'm really upset right now. Like this is like a blow to my fucking, you know what I mean, to my world. Like I'm like the person I thought was my father my whole time is now my dad, you know what I mean? And all of this, and I'm crying, you know what I mean? I'm really fucking upset. And my mom's looking at me being like, why you crying? Stop being a bitch about it, you know what I mean? And like I can't fucking believe this bitch. You know, like I'm mad as a motherfucker and I can't believe she's like being like, why are you upset? You know what I mean? Like I couldn't fathom it. And so the reason my uncle like at the time is there too, right? Because my uncle, like a tweet, like who's there, he is my father's like brother, right? So that's like my legitimate uncle. And like I said, like when it comes to Sudanese people, anybody who's older than me, I call you like uncle or auntie by respect, right? Like for by respect. And like we're all like family that way pretty much. You know what I mean? That's why I said like we're like Sudanese people ride together like pretty tight. Um so so anyways, right? Um I don't know, at that point I thought me and mom had like pretty much like a falling out kind of thing. Like I was, you know what I mean, pretty upset. Like I thought at that point, like I was kind of broken, you know what I mean? But you know, it wasn't as bad as I thought at the time, right? I feel like nothing really is, but we all make it bigger than it really is, right? Because of the emotion or you know what I mean, the um like how critical something is, you know what I mean, how major it is to you, and what you're going through at the time, you know what I mean, could just like make it worse. So you know what I mean, there was a point there where my mom, you know what I mean, she tells me all this, and so later on, right? So later on, right? Like I have like this, you know what I mean, this emptiness kind of like this wondering now, right? Is obviously like, well, where's my dad? Like what happened? Like did he not want me or whatever? And you know what I mean, you have this like loneliness and like feeling like you're abandoned kind of you know what I mean, not mentality, but like just like the feeling like of the void, right? But you know what I mean, but at the same time I was like I had a dad, you know what I mean, but you know what I mean, like in a small like a small consolation though, I was like, but I was like, at least my dad don't fucking hit women like that, you know what I mean, though that was like, and I'm not, and I'm not saying that my stepdad, like sometimes it's just different things, but it was just like a funny thing. Like I kind of said to myself at the same time. I was like, well, at least my dad does. You know what I mean? At least my dad didn't do that kind of thing. But anyways, so so later on, I end up finding out, right, that like, so when we first moved to Canada, right? When we first moved to Canada, we were supposed to live in the States actually, right? Because my dad, right, whose name is Malik, and then that's like my second middle name, right? It's Dang Dominic Malik, and then and so my dad came over like a couple years beforehand, right? Worked in the States, and then was supposed to bring us over, right? And my dad lives in Arizona like right now to this day, right? And and he's an American citizen, and so is my grandma, right, with him now. And so my dad, he worked, right. He was working, sending money for us, and at the time, my mom thought he cheated on her or something like that, and then like cut ties or whatever with him, right? Even though he was trying to contact me, he was trying to send money. Like my grandma like told me all this like in person, like when I met her, and different things like that. And I was just like shocked, you know what I mean? Like to find out it was like my mom basically kept my dad away from me because of whatever petty dumb bullshit they were going through. You know what I mean? And literally stripped me away from having my own father. You know what I mean? In my life, and put it on some other man. And I'm not, you know what I mean? I got nothing against him. Having somebody was better than not, but like the mere fact of how you could do this was like ridiculous to me. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't fathom it. And I was like, you literally, but a lot of women are the same way. And I hate to say it, but they are. Like a lot of women use children as pawns in your scheme against like a man, which is fucked up. You know what I mean? Like I think everybody should have a little bit more class than that and not use children as weapons. You know what I mean? Because it's not a game. You really ruin like childhoods and different things like that, and you can traumatize people for dumb things like that, petty things. You know what I mean? Like if the nigga's not fucking beating up the kid and doing no crazy shit, you should let somebody see their kid if they're trying to see their kid. You know what I mean? It's better than people being deadbeats and not doing anything. You know what I mean? So anyways, at this time, right, if I all this out, I'm like crushed because like of how much like I'm hearing like my dad works, like my dad, you know, because my dad's like he's like quiet or whatever kind of thing, and he just does what he, you know what I mean, like does what he got to do kind of thing. Works, comes home, like he has like no other kids, like that's what I was told, and different things like that. My mom has like five, right? So it was kind of like, was he really? But and you know what I mean. It's unfortunate, but like when I talk to him and different things like that, like my dad was very like, you know, like just listening to your mom kind of thing. And you know, at the time I'm like, why should I listen to my mom? My mom's like telling me a bunch of lies. She kept me away from you, all these different things, like and how she treated me, you know what I mean? All these different things, kicking me out for dumb things, always like putting her hands on me, and I never like, you know what I mean, I don't like that stuff. And I'd always, you know what I mean, just try to like, you know what I mean, not badmouth her or not do anything like that. And you can ask people who've known me when I was younger and all and everything like that. I would never really say anything about my mom, badmouth her or anything. I usually just keep shit to myself, and I try to be like a happy and, you know, lucky, like go lucky person most of the time. Cause like for me, it was always like with anything in life, I always hate the situation. I don't hate life for it. You know what I mean? Like if I'm going through something, I'm not gonna take it out on every other person I meet and see it because of whatever thing I'm going through with one person. Generally, that's how I am, right? And but it's like when I'm more normally, right, like when I'm just having one issue or something, you know, manageable, I can walk throughout the world and just be happy or treat other people how they're supposed to be treated. Because generally, you know what I mean, I know these other people didn't hurt me. They're not the ones who I have a problem with or whatever. So I treat them like normal. You know what I mean? So so fuck, where am I going? And I'm like blanking. Uh, oh yeah, okay. So anyway, so I find all this out, right, and yeah, my dad's telling me to like listen to my mom, whatever. And you know, like I said, I'm like, why would I try to listen to her with all the things she's done and so on and so forth. So then, you know, me and him kind of at the time had like disagreement, right? Because like it was like telling me to listen to her, and I was like, why should I listen to this person with all the things they've done to me? But he's just that old school. You should, you know, listen to your mom kind of thing, and whatever. And I didn't really agree with that because you know what I mean. I feel like if I should be treated right by people, and I don't care if you're my mom or whoever, you know what I mean. If you're not gonna treat me with respect, then I'm not. I don't need to be around you. Like blood don't mean shit like that, especially if you're not gonna, you know what I mean, treat somebody with respect. Like respect means a lot, you know what I mean? And most people can tell whether you give people the actual respect they deserve or if you just kind of tolerate them or whatever. there's a difference, you know what I mean? How you approach somebody, how you talk to them, everything. Like there's there's just a way how people tell. Like we all have senses, like you know what I mean? We can tell. Like it's a natural human instinct and thing, you know? So so at this point, you know what I mean, went through some sometimes whatever, back and forth and stuff like that. And it's getting like later in high school. And then um now like I go to Calgary, right? So when I went to Calgary, right, I went to go visit my stepdad, right, in Calgary, right? And and there I wanted to like have like a new, you know what I mean, like a new kind of outlook on things, right? So when I moved to Calgary, Calgary was really cool. You know what I mean? Had some pretty cool times there. Like I met my friend Jennifer at like Walmart when we worked out worked at different things. When I was there, I worked at like the Calgary Stampede. Shout out to Calgary Stampede. It's really fun where we do like rodeo, um, and like a whole bunch of outdoors, and everybody's wearing cowboy hats and boots and stuff. It's fun, bro. It's fun. I love functions and shit like that. I love shit like that. It's a good time. So um so like working at the Stampede for me like was a really fun time. Like I did like taking stages up and down and different things like that, and like cleaning out like the stuff like early in the morning, right? Like doing like cleanup crew, right? Especially at the time, like when I first got to Calgary, it was like in the summertime, right? Like just about to be the summer, and like I wanted to like do something, obviously, right? Like get a job because my dad and stuff, like stepdad right there, he's very workaholic type of guy, just like my regular, like my normal dad, or sorry, like my dad. They're very like alike in that way though. Like whether they're sick or whatever, don't matter. They're gonna go to work. You know what I mean? Like regardless. So 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 like I'm working at the job and different things like that. At night and meeting all these different people. And like I remember in Calgary, it was like the first place, I don't know, out of like all provinces, and this is nothing like against provinces, but I personally felt like in Ontario where I was at before, it felt kind of like segregated, right? Like in a way, like in the sense of like if you go to certain areas, other people give you at least the feeling like you're kind of not welcome here. You know what I mean? Like and I don't know if other people can vouch for that, but that's just how personally I have felt, right? Like in some places in Ontario and different like and Ontario being as mixed as it is, it's kind of weird like that, but it seems more segregated. Like you don't see like a bunch of mix of people in certain areas and certain things like that. It's kind of, you know what I mean, segregated in a way. But for me, when I was in Calgary, it felt more of a mix. You know what I mean? No matter if I was in the north end, the east end, the west, wherever, like it felt like a mix of people, right? And I was near Airy, Airy. I forget the area called whatever in the thing, but I was like near that area and different things like that, and like there was just like a mix of people, like from white, black, Asian, Indian, you know what I mean, Hispanic, whatever. Like it was just a whole bunch of people. Everybody was like money. Everybody was just having a good time, right? Because my stepdad worked in oil fields like right at the time. Like I think he worked at Fort McMurray at the time, and so like he worked the camp job. He worked like 3 weeks on, 1 week off. So I'd only see him 1 week, like every week kind of thing, right? Which is pretty dope for like a 18, 17, 18 year old at the time. You know, like yo, I get so much time to just chill, car, you know what I mean? So it was a good time. So so at the time, I worked at the Calgary Stampede, right? That was done. Then I met like my friend Jennifer, right? At the Walmart that was just off the like the intersection or like the highway kind of thing towards Chestermere, right? Because she lived in Chestermere, and she was a fun, like a funny girl, bro. Like the first one of the first people like I met there, right, and started like chilling with, like she was pretty funny. So you know, I mean, like when I first got to like to the Walmart, right, I'd be like, you know, what I mean, the like a good employee, like you don't want to do anything, you're on your best behavior, you know what I mean? And this girl was there for however long, right? She didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Bitch didn't give a fuck. She's like, I'm in this bitch, right? So so Jennifer would always like on breaks or whatever, right? Like so no, actually let me first start. So one of the first days that I actually start, right? Like I start working there. I like we're going, right? It's like supposed to be orientation, and like they just opened the fucking Walmart, right? Because it was like brand new, like off the highway. It was like the home center or whatever. Like it was the bitch with like the fucking produce, everything. Like the big Walmart, right? It had everything. And so um and remember it's in between Calgary and Chestermere right now. It's like in between. So like, you get like the Calgary money and like the nice Chestermere money, you know what I mean? Chestermere is like a suburb, like I said, right? And so anyways, one of the first days like I'm working, there was like a flood in the store. So like everything got flooded, whatever, and we just had to like clean up. So that's how like I met Jennifer, right? Like we were just both cleaning up or whatever. Me, Jennifer, and Sad. I'm pretty positive it was like his name's Sad, right? Like SADD. And then like it was like me, her, like we were hanging out. She told me about the store and like different people like that. I told her, you know what I mean, I was from Ontario. And everybody in Calgary, like if you ever say you're from Ontario, they always go, "Are you from Toronto?" You know what I mean? Like that's the go-to fucking place to be like, okay, are you from here? So everybody was like, "Oh, you from Toronto?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm from Toronto, sir." You know, I'm 2 hours away, but I'm pretty much from Toronto. So anyways, like I meet her, I meet Sad and everything, and then they tell me about like Calgary and like what's going on or whatever. She tells me about like the store and all that. So after like Jennifer's like, yeah, like I just grab like food like whenever kind of thing, right? Like she's like, yeah, I just you know what I mean, on my breaks I just go to the aisle, grab a bag of chips or like a little thing, bring it back, heat it up, whatever, right? So I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? I'm like on my best behavior though right now, right? Like I'm brand new. I'm brand new to this bitch. So I'm not trying to like do nothing, right? So Jennifer like grabs food, whatever. She's like, I'll just grab it kind of thing, right? So she grabs some shit like for me, whatever, right? I didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? At the time I was like, I'm not trying to do nothing. Especially before your probation, right? Because then you can get fired at like whenever. So I wait my probation, whatever, out. She's like, just do it, you know what I mean? Like they never look kind of thing, whatever, whatever. So I was like, all right. So I start like grabbing getting some food, right? Like what like at the time, right? Just from time to time. And it'd be like small things here and here, right? But obviously like you're fucking stealing, right? And at the time I'm like, fuck, you know what I mean? So I think a couple months go by. I think it was I think it was 2 3 months or something when we were like working there or whatever. And no, probably more than that. I feel it was like 4 months or something. And then one day, Jennifer, right, gets a call, right, to the office, and they're like, and they're like Jennifer, like, I'm not gonna say her last name, but actually, shout out Jennifer Holosi, you know what I mean? Shout out Jennifer. But they're like Jennifer Holosi, like come to like come to the front, right? So she comes, right? There's like officers there or whatever. They have this whole thing where like they catch her, right. They like arrest her, put her in front of the cop car. I'm pretty sure this girl tried to like IG or try to fucking stop herself, be like, yo, I'm getting arrested. You know what I mean? Like she was just like didn't give a fuck, which was funny about it. So then like it was like a whole thing. Like the store was like, yeah, we're gonna like charge her this or this kind of thing. Like they made a whole big thing, right? Obviously, to try to like scare other people or whatever kind of thing. And I was like, I wasn't shook by it, but I was like, damn, like if they got her, they're coming after me. You know what I mean? Because I was like, I chill with her. You know what I mean? It's only a matter of time. I was like, damn. So so she gets caught up, whatever, right? They take her, whatever, home, and like they talk to her parents or some bullshit, right, and whatever. And she hits me back like the next day or something, right? Because like we're friends, like good friends at this point. Like we chill and like hang out and all that. and she lets me know. I was like, so you good? I was like, everything good in the hood? And she's like, nah, I'm on lockdown right now. And I was like, I feel you locked up, right? And she's like, yeah, well, let me out. Hey, so like she like had some shit for whatever time, right? But the charges or whatever got like dropped. Like they didn't really like charge her for it. They kind of just fired her and then you know what I mean, kind of let her on her way, which is funny about it. And so for me, like a couple months later, I was like, fuck that, like I'm quitting. You know what I mean? I found another job. You know, I was like, oh, it only matter of time, but I'm gonna get out before they get me. You know what I mean? It was like a funny time. That was like, you know what I mean, one of the only times for that, but it was fun. So then after like that, right? So me and Jennifer would always like hang out. She would show me like the rest of Calgary, right? Because I didn't know like anywhere. She showed me like Cross Iron. She showed me like uh Cross Iron, um Chinook Mall, I think, or something, right? Because like if okay, let me say this quick thing about Calgary, right? So Calgary, there's like the Chinook Winds or whatever, right? Because like when I first got there, all my uncles and family members like, yeah, right. There's the Chinook Winds, and the Chinook Winds or whatever is like you can have like all four seasons in like one day kind of thing, and like you should be prepared for it. It's kind of interesting like that. Like it gets wild in there sometimes, um, which is interesting too, right? But and it was actually pretty like factual, like because that same year, like in September, it like snowed the first week or whatever that I was there, and then it was like fine. It was really weird, but yeah, it was like weird like that. So, anyways, Jennifer showed me like Cross Iron, a couple of the other malls. I think one's Chinook or something. And different things that we'd go hang out, right? We'd party. She'd show me all like the people from Chestermere and like over there, right? And we'd all hang out. And so the one day she's like, this one girl was throwing a party, right? And her house was in Chestermere, right? And she had like land, and she was gonna have like a bonfire, DJ, like the whole nine. It was gonna be a good time, right? She's like, come. So I'm like, all right, like no problem, right? I'm gonna have a good time. It was like we just got off work or something, right? So I went to go pick her up, and then we went to go to get alcohol. She got like her whore lashes on, right? Like the fucking whatever ones from the store, and and then like she'd go home, get changed, whatever, and then I'd pick her up later, kind of thing. Right after we'd go get an outfit, and so like we're already got the alcohol right, ready for the night, and I'm driving everybody, right, and so everybody parks like in the field, right, kind of thing, whatever. And then like so there was like a bunch of people, like I'm saying, right, like there's like her house was a perfect, like it was like in like the it was like in like the boonies, whatever, like where the fuck out, right? And she just had a whole bunch of land. Everybody just parked their car, and then she had like the bonfire, the house to the side right here, open, right? And then they had like the DJ and everything. It was cool. It was cool. And there was a whole bunch of motherfuckers in there, like a whole bunch of niggas in there, like a lot. Like they had to be over 1,000 people or something. Like it was pretty big or something like that. And anyways, so it was me in the car, me, Jennifer, and like some other like two people, Jennifer's friends or some bullshit, some other two people. And I don't really know what ends up happening shortly after this, but so I like take a shot or two or something, right? Literally like one shot or two, and then like I smoke like this weed or whatever, right? And then instantly right after that, I black out, like out. And throughout the night, I just kept like like periodic. I can't even say my words. Periodic. I can't even say my words. But you know what I'm talking about. Throughout the night, I would just come in and come out, like literally like in the movies. I never thought that was real, but like it's pretty real. Where you're blacking in and blacking out, and like you just remember like a little bits of the nights, right? So I black out from being in the car, taking one or two drinks, whatever, and smoking whatever weed, to then I wake up, I'm by the bonfire, I'm fucking hunched over, fucking like over by the fire, like literally like almost leaning in the fire, like you know what I mean, like I like, and and the next day I get told this by other people as well, right? But this is like small things that I remember. and then I black out again. I wake back up. I'm in the back of a car, right? And then like I see Jennifer, but I don't know what's really going on. And then like I black out again, right? And then I wake up one more time, but I'm beside my car now, right? And like I driving at the time a Honda Civic 2002, like 2-door, you know what I mean? I'll pull the fucking seat back for these bitches to get in, you know what I mean? So, anyways, I wake up right beside the car. I'm like trying to go in my pocket right at the time, and I can't find the keys, and I can't find my phone or whatever. So I don't have the strength to really do anything else. So then I black out again, right? I black out. I just slept like right there. I black out again. I wake back up. I right. I'm groggy, but I'm more like I'm more there. And then like I check for the keys. The keys are in my pocket. I'm like, okay, what the fuck, right? And I could have just been too fucked up or something, but I literally don't know what fucking happened. By the way, like I didn't take anything that I'm just leaving out just cause, right? I don't want to say it. Like I wouldn't give a fuck if I was out here popping whatever. I would just say it. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. But I literally don't know like what happened. Like I don't know what happened. And so like I said, I wake back up. The keys are in my pocket, so I get the keys. My glasses are gone right now. I don't know where the fuck they are, but and it's hard for me to see anyways right now, right? Because I'm nearsighted. So I'm like groggy. I don't really know how the fuck to get out of this bitch. Anyways, I'm kind of new to the city. Like I said, I don't really know this place like the back of my hand, but remember, I'm pretty decent with like direction. So you know, I get in the car. I'm real groggy, right? I drive back to the house, right? My like I don't know for how I got like through the because to get back to Calgary you have to go through like the highway, right? So it's like the highway or whatever, through Chestermere and then over and then you know what I mean. You can either take the long way or like the shorter way, and I was trying to take the shorter way, obviously, right? Like um through like by the Walmart and stuff like that, and then get over. And like it was literally a miracle. I found my way there, and then got back to the house. I was really fucked up. I literally had to like call my uncle and get him like to drag me like in the house and like and like put me in bed. And literally he's like everything okay? I was like nah, like I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm just really fucked up. Like I had no energy. I was drained. Like I couldn't do anything. I literally just like slept and laid in bed like the whole day. My uncle like went to go get me some food, right? And like got me Subway because like he's like, "Do you want food?" Right? I was like, "Yeah, like, get me Subway," because I thought that was the easiest thing like I could eat, right? I was wrong. And so he comes back with the Subway. I literally took like 2 bites out of that bitch, and I just left it beside like on the nightstand. I just fucking fell asleep. Like I just slept, but it was like I think that was the one like my first time ever getting like drugged. You know what I mean? Don't know how it happened, but then the next day, right, my phone is like getting blown up. Everybody's like, "You okay?" Like Jennifer's like, "You alive?" Everybody else, like a couple other like friends or whatever I met there, they were like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go fine. I just don't know what happened." And they're like, "Dude, everybody thought you're dead. Like you were leaning over, like slumped, like this and this." And I'm like, "Yeah, like I have no idea." Like you know what I mean? And then everybody after, like when I would see them, they're like, "Yo, it's the dead kid or whatever." They literally refer to me as that. No, it was a funny time, a funny time. Those Chestermere kids always have like some wild things. But it's probably because like if anybody knows Chestermere, right? It's like it's a nicer part. They have like the lake or whatever right there. The houses on the lake are like pretty nice. Like they're getting up there in price. And I remember one time me, Jennifer, and a couple other people, like they invited me again like to another party or whatever, right? But it was like in Chestermere, and it was like on the by the water there, and I forget who it was, but they were like, yeah, like come over, hang out, right? So I drive over, whatever, and I'm like, so whose house is this? And they go, oh, it's like this girl, something her name like Ashley, and I'm like, oh, okay, like so she just let like people party in her house or something like when they're gone, and she's like, no, like she doesn't know like we're here. And they're like, oh, so and so just knows like the door code and like the alarm. So we just like party in here when they're gone. And I was like, all right, you know what I mean? Like Like these kids are just randomly in people's houses. So it was pretty dope. Like they had like a pretty nice house. Like they had like a little boat like in the back, or like because I told you it's like on the water, like on the water. Like the house is on the water. So it was like pretty nice. We like hung out, drank there. Some people got fucked up, and then we were trying to like help them up and different things like that. It was like a fun time. It was a really fun time there. Uh, Calgary was like really one of like the fun places. Like there's some other things that happened, but like you know what I mean. Like I met my other buddy like Chris and a couple other people. Like, I know I'm forgetting their names right now, but a lot of Sudanese people. Like my aunt is like a nurse there at the can't even say the hospital right now, but I can't remember. But and then like I have cousins and everything there. Yeah, but it was a very like fun place. Um, and I think for the time being, I think that's enough for this episode. For the next pod, um, it's gonna be interesting. You should tune in for it. It's gonna be about friendships and relationships, and I have like some really interesting things that I wanted to share with you guys. So like I said, this is the Nothing But Thoughts podcast. My name is Dang. I was just sharing some of my thoughts on Nothing But Thoughts, and thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week.